I'm still hungry to do even more. Alexandra Eala reflects on her stunning rise into the WTA elite. The Filipino star started the year at number 147 and achieved a notable climb into the top 50. Her great season earned her a nomination for the WTA's Newcomer of the Year, alongside other stellar names like Victoria Mboko, Iva Jovic, and Lois Boisson. The player, trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy, enjoyed a notable junior career, winning the girls' singles crown at the 2022 U.S. Open and achieving her best ranking as number 2 in the ITF Junior rankings. During 2025, she transformed from a future prospect into a name to watch on the tour, and at just 20 years old, she looks forward to continuing her progress next season. She can already quickly claim to be the best tennis player in Philippine history, a country that had never before had a representative at the highest level of tennis. She recently gave an interview to Vogue Philippines, where she asserted that she is still hungry to do even more and to work even harder. Learning to lose, learning to fight, the Miami Magic. During 2025, Eala won her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, in addition to reaching her first WTA 250 final at the Eastbourne Open. On the English grass, she wasted up to 4 match points and ended up falling to Australian teenager Maya Joint. Tennis is such a beautiful sport because it really keeps you grounded, the Filipino player asserted. You lose. You really learn to lose because you lose almost every week. And that's what I've learned. There's always going to be someone better than you. And what I try to do is just be the best version of myself. Eala has also experienced major triumphs, the most important being her Miami campaign, which catapulted her from number 140 to number 75 by March of this year. Eala overcame 3 Grand Slam champions in straight sets: Yelena Ostapenko, number 25, Madison Keys, number 5, and Iga Swiatek, number 2. In the semifinals, she put up a good fight against the number 4, Jessica Pegula, but eventually conceded in 3 sets, 6-7, 7-5, 6-3. I'm so proud of myself and what I've accomplished. I'm also proud and grateful to the team and all the effort that they've put in, she told Vogue months after Miami. I'm just happy that, they see results and that I can share this happiness with them also. It's not typical for me either to be that upbeat after a loss, she shared at an event organized by her sponsor BPI. But I was just at a point that I was so thankful. I lost, but I put up a good fight. I sat down and looked into the crowd, and there were countless Filipino flags. I was in Miami, playing against an American, but the stadium was full of Filipinos. I just felt so supported and so loved. Despite the loss, the 20-year-old catapulted her name into the list of players to follow for the season. The large Filipino audience in Miami made her one of the sensations of the tournament, and since then, sponsors and interviews have been abundant for Eala. I like to emulate the best of us Filipinos, she says regarding the extensive Filipino support from a country that does not have much tennis tradition and had never had a player ranked within the top 50. The sun draped the court in molten gold as Alexandra Eala wrapped her fingers around the grip of her racket. Steady, familiar, almost ceremonial. She stood alone on court 3 of a nearly empty training facility in Madrid, where the echo of bouncing tennis balls seemed to harmonize with her breath. Her practice session had ended nearly an hour ago, yet she remained, lingering in the afterglow of sweat and effort. A few years ago, she was a wide-eyed junior champion. Now she had broken into the WTA elite, top tournaments, center courts, locker rooms she once entered only in dreams. Fame was no longer a distant prize, but a companion trailing her from country to country. And yet, as she leaned against the baseline and wiped a sheen of perspiration from her brow, she whispered the words she had repeated quietly to herself for months. I'm still hungry to do even more. A meteor rising. Alexandra, Alex to most, Xandra to her closest circle, has always been a curious hybrid of fire and calm. Even when she was young, coaches at the Rafa Nadal Academy described her as a storm in a teacup, compact, disciplined, but carrying in her small frame the kinetic energy of ambition that could spill over at any time. Her ascent into the WTA's highest tiers happened not with a single blockbuster season, but through a series of steady, deliberate climbs. Titles on smaller circuits, A surprise run into the second week of a major. Wins over players, once pinned to posters on her bedroom wall. Eala didn't simply arrive. She chiseled her way upward, match by match, stubborn point by stubborn point. People think it was sudden, she said in an interview after her first top 10 upset. But nothing about this was sudden. It was slow, painful, exhilarating work. Every step took everything I had. In the Philippines, where tennis has long lived in the shadow of sports like basketball and boxing, she became a symbol of possibility. Here was someone who broke molds without needing to break character. She stayed respectful, stayed grounded, stayed professional, and yet, she played like a woman who had something to prove every time she stepped on court. The drive beneath the discipline. When you meet Alex off the court, the first thing you notice isn't her power or presence, but her poise. She speaks with deliberate clarity, tying each sentence to the next like threads on a loom. But beneath that calm exterior is a relentless engine. "I've always been hungry," she said once, tapping her chest as if trying to locate the exact source of that hunger. Not for fame, not even for titles, although of course I want them. I'm hungry for mastery. I want to know how good I can be when I give everything. Mastery, not stardom. This became the heartbeat of her rise. Where other players might dwell on winning streaks or media praise, she fixated on the smallest of details. The angle of her racket at contact, the half-step of footwork that could improve her defensive court coverage, the timing of her forehand acceleration. Her coaches joke that she has a PhD in noticing things. They say she treats tennis as both art and science, the geometry of the court, the choreography of movement, the psychology of momentum. What truly sets her apart, however, is her appetite for pressure. While some players shrink under expectation, Alex seems to expand. "I like big moments," she admitted with a shy smile. "It's like my lungs get bigger. I feel more alive." The year everything changed. It was at the start of her breakout WTA season, when she first cracked the top tiers, that Alex felt something new stirring in her career.